Welcome back, everyone, to Weather for Weather Geeks. This is the edition for Tuesday, the 23rd day of January here in 2018. Hope you had a great Tuesday. Of course, the weather was certainly different today. As expected, it turned colder. We had a little bit of rain and snow to contend with, especially a few snowflakes late in the day. Wanted to start, though, before we get to today's weather and our future weather, let's look back at the past. This week, specifically on Friday, it's the 40-year anniversary of one of the most famous storms across our region, especially winter storms. Of course, we're talking about the blizzard of 1978. This is a map showing the approximate snowfall accumulations from the blizzard of 78. A lot of people have memories of this storm. If you were around at that point, you may have very vivid memories of what life was like for a few days around this storm. And some people are surprised by the low snowfall totals, especially in eastern Ohio. But this was just the snow that actually fell. We're not talking about drifts here. And because of the tremendous wind, the snow drifts were really the big story that really crippled travel, shut down the Ohio Turnpike for a couple of days, and led to, unfortunately, several fatalities and all sorts of problems back in late January of 1978. It was really the drifts. The actual snow accumulations, especially in eastern Ohio, were fairly modest. In Youngstown, a few inches is all we really got, but of course drifts were quite a bit more significant, and then it was a lot worse off to our west. Some parts of northern Indiana around Fort Wayne and up towards South Bend and then towards Grand Rapids, Michigan. Some places had up to 2 feet worth of snow, and that isn't even counting the drifts. The drifts were several feet from western Ohio on north and west. Now, around northeast Ohio and western PA, this of course was a huge wind producer because of how strong the low pressure system was. This set a record in many places for lowest pressure on record. This includes in Youngstown an astonishing 28.39 inches of mercury, or 961 millibars. To kind of put that in perspective for you, that's comparable to kind of a mid-range Category 3 hurricane. A Category 3, that's a major hurricane. That's something that really gets your attention in summer and fall when it makes landfall somewhere. And this was in the middle of winter and was accompanied by snow. So that's just how amazingly strong this was. The temperature drop also, a lot of people have very vivid memories of the temperature drop. It dropped between 30 and 50 degrees in the matter of a couple of hours as the low pushed north and west and the cold air wrapped in behind it. So really, really significant. I was born, I'm going to date myself here, I've got the big 4-0 coming up next month. I was born a month after the blizzard of 78. I was born in southwest Ohio, around the Dayton area. My family likes to tell stories about how it was still tough to get from eastern Ohio to the Dayton area a month later to see me in the hospital. I'm not sure if I believe that. I think people's memories, people conflate some things sometimes, and I doubt a month later it was still hard to travel down the interstate to Dayton. But people definitely remember that storm, and the impacts did certainly last more than just a day or two, probably a couple of weeks in some spots, before all the snow was cleaned up. The drifts, again, were just tremendous. That's the kind of storm we haven't seen since. Hopefully we won't ever see, but that's the kind of winter storm that when people go out and stock up on bread and milk when we're going to get a few inches of snow, I always kind of chuckle. Some people live way out in the boonies and may have a harder time dealing with a modest accumulation of snow than other people. But that was truly a storm where people were shut in for a long time and really did need to stock up on essential items. All right, back here in the present. The radar this evening is not showing much. I wanted to rewind, though, and this may have woken you up last night around 1 to 2 a.m. We had some thunderstorms across the region. Vivid lightning, some loud thunder for a time. This was at 1:44 a.m. Had some lightning and thunder around Boardman and Canfield and Youngstown, Struthers, Camel, and all that action quickly shifted east. So dead of winter, and we had some thunder and lightning. A couple of rain showers then passed through around lunchtime, and we've had a couple of snowflakes and sleet pellets this evening. Pretty low impact stuff on Storm Tracker 21 at 7:12 this evening. Really not expecting much in the way of snow accumulation tonight at all. Could be a candy coating in some spots. One thing we have to watch out for tonight, if you've got some standing water at the end of your driveway or in a parking lot or on a sidewalk, everything's kind of muddy and wet after the recent melt, that stuff's going to freeze tonight because we're going to get well down into the 20s. Our temperature Trend today went pretty much as expected. We started the day with temperatures right around 44, 45, but then we did plummet a few degrees, and then we continued to slide backwards as we got into the afternoon and the evening today. And again, our snow is wiped out at this point. It wasn't that long ago. We had 5, 6, 7 inches worth of snow on the ground on average, but boy, it vanished in a hurry over the last few days. Even more remarkable is, Erie, Pennsylvania. Over 100 inches worth of snow, and a lot of that came in a fairly short amount of time. They had 60 inches over the course of a few days back in December. And it's amazing that, aside from a little patch here and there, even up there, all the snow is gone at this point. All right, tomorrow is going to be a pretty classic midwinter day. A lot of clouds, stratocumulus clouds, cold temperatures will stay in the 20s. And there might be a stray flurry. Actually, the best chance of seeing a couple of flurries might be towards evening. Maybe even some legit snow showers closer to Pittsburgh, Columbus, Zanesville, Cambridge, maybe down towards Athens. But really nothing more than a flurry around here tomorrow. Then we're going to turn things around pretty quickly at the end of the week. A sunnier day coming up on Thursday. We'll try to crack freezing. And then what a beautiful day we have coming up on Friday. The clockwise flow around high pressure will guide a southwesterly wind in here, and we'll make a run at 50 by Friday afternoon. All right, let's talk about the weekend and then the longer range. Some forecast challenges when it comes to the weekend and the timing on rain. This is the GFS model. I'm going to fast forward to Saturday here. The GFS is coming around to an idea on the timing that the European has had for a while, that there's a good chance for showers on Saturday, mostly, I suspect, after lunchtime. And those showers will linger into a lot of Saturday night. Now, on Sunday, the best chance for showers is probably in the morning. And then this kind of sluggish front should get the boot east. Now, if some of the slowest model ideas are right, it may just rain for a good chunk of the day on Sunday. But right now, fairly confident that we're going to try to kick these showers out of here by about midday on Sunday. And then a brief cold shot early next week might be accompanied by a touch of snow or some flurries on Monday. Longer range. The trend in the longer range, we've been talking about how this is a mild pattern through at least the end of January, if not the first handful of days of February. The models are speeding up the arrival of winter or the cold earlier in February. So it may be a pretty cold stretch starting right as we flip the calendar into February. This is Thursday the 1st. Look at all that cold air pouring down into the Rockies, into the Plain States. And then for Super Bowl weekend, this is Saturday the 3rd. Here comes the cold air. So this is a few days earlier than previously advertised. Good thing they're playing in a dome in Minneapolis. The outside temperature in the Twin Cities for the Super Bowl on Super Bowl Sunday might be below zero, really cold. And for us, again, once we turn cold early in February, it's likely to just kind of stay that way. This wouldn't be a total shock, when we look back at what we call our analogs, our package of years that we put in the hopper. These are the years that had the most similar atmospheric and oceanic conditions to this year, and we use this to help make our winter forecast. Well, this is the month of February. Our years are 2001, 1982, 1963, 1968. Those years, all, when you throw them in and take an average, they all have a cold look to them in the month of February. So I think January is going to end up being a couple of degrees colder than average. December was colder than average. I think February is going to end up colder than average. So we're probably going to make it 3 for 3 in the winter months this year for colder than average temperatures. What a change compared to the last couple of years. All right, thanks for geeking out with me tonight on Weather for Weather Geeks. Full update tonight on 21 News at 11. Don't forget to check in on the Storm Tracker 21 app anytime you want. All our human inputted forecasts are in there. We manually type those things out. No computer model junk in there when you check your 7-day forecast on the Storm Tracker 21 app.